Panthers, Milwaukee, and San Juan to take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in Game 1, now joined by head coach Kyle Rechlicz. And Coach, first of all, you've had 10 days since your last game action. I'm curious, what did you and the team specifically focus on during that layoff during practice?
We focused a lot on us, getting ourselves better. We've had a difficulty of boxing out, so we kind of made that an emphasis this week, and then really just focused a lot on our next two opponents, Georgia Tech and Eastern Kentucky.
You guys right now are shooting the ball extremely well through your first 3 games. What do you attribute that to?
Just a lack of focus and confidence. Our girls have really put a lot of effort into coming into the gym, getting their own shots up. I tell them all the time we don't have time in practice to get shots, and they've been really taking the effort to come in on their own and get that done. But I think it's also it's part of our system. I always tell them that every person on the court needs to be a threat, and I think that if you have 5 players out there looking to shoot and knowing that the coach isn't going to yell at them even if they take a bad shot, then you have a little bit more confidence that it's going to go in, and you don't have that hesitation.
Heading into the matchup here, before we talk about the trip as a whole maybe, but heading into the matchup with Georgia Tech, I'd imagine an opportunity for you, your staff, and your team to kind of see where you guys stack up against one of the best teams in the country and in the best conference in the ACC.
Yeah, and Georgia Tech is very athletic. They've had some great games and some close games this year, so they've been in some tested situations already. And they really do a lot of the things that I just talked about that are some of our weaknesses. They crash the boards extremely hard. They really push the tempo. We've had a little bit of trouble of defending the one-on-one action. So this will be great to see where we're at, and it'll be a really good test to prepare us for conference.
You had a chance to watch Georgia Tech in a real good ball game against Syracuse yesterday. What did you see that you're translating into a scouting report here today specifically that you can tell the folks about?
Well, it's great that the Syracuse came out in a zone because we're planning on playing a lot of zone this game. So it was nice to be able to see the calls of the plays that we've been working on all week, and that'll really help our girls out. A big thing that we had to do is we had to outsmart them. That's our goal, is to really try to use our brains a little bit more than what we would say is our athleticism. So it was nice to see them in a tested situation. It was also nice to see them having to work so hard and be on their legs so much when we had a day off.
The Yellow Jackets have, through their first 4 games, had instances in their ball games where they kind of fall asleep a little bit. They allow their opponents to go on runs. Is that something you hope pops up again today?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about this is going to be a game of runs and capitalizing when we have our opportunities. But again, that comes down to hitting shots. We're going to get a few opportunities if we can, stop from turning the ball over against their pressure. So we've been working a lot on that, and just taking care of the ball and taking the shots when they're available. And if we knock down some shots, it could be a very interesting game.
Is there one key to pulling off the upset of the Yellow Jackets that you want folks to listen in on today?
Boxing out and getting back on defense for sure. I mean, that's the name of the game. Against Syracuse, they had 25 offensive rebounds last night, and that's against a very athletic team. So we have to be very fundamental in our box outs and really rely on that as a strength.
Coach, best of skill. We'll talk to you afterwards.
All right, thank you.
We'll continue with more Panthers preview in a moment on AM 920, The Wolf. And now we continue on the Black and Gold Network. Kyle Rechlicz, and before we talk about the matchup here with Georgia Tech, this trip as a whole, there's a lot of benefits to going on trips like this extended period, despite the weather, or more than the weather, I should say.
Yeah, we've had a great trip so far. We spent a lot of time as a team. The girls actually yesterday, they had an opportunity to go out and do a 6-hour excursion out on the waters. And an excursion is a really good word too, because it was very stormy and they were in some blow-up rafts, I guess, and it was a monsoon as far as I heard. But they all made it back safely, and which is a good thing for all you parents that are listening out there. They're all alive and ready to go today.
The matchup here, you face one of the best in the ACC in Georgia Tech, and then a fellow mid-major in Eastern Kentucky. Pretty balanced competition level for you guys. Talk about first Georgia Tech and then Eastern Kentucky.
Georgia Tech is going to be a great test for Eastern Kentucky because Eastern Kentucky is just as athletic as Georgia Tech. They're just still kind of finding their own space and their own way. They had a tough game against Florida State yesterday, so hopefully that will help us a little bit. But Georgia Tech is gonna definitely test us for 40 minutes. We have to minimize our lulls like we always talk about, and really capitalize on our highs.
On these kind of trips, Coach, and you've been on them as a player, as an assistant, now as a head coach, what's the key to keeping the players focused? Have time for basketball, have time for fun, and make sure they don't intermingle, I guess.
Yeah, I'm more on the fun side. I think that we put a lot of effort and time into this week of preparing for our opponents, and now we're in a position where if they don't, I just was talking to one of my coaches, if they don't know by now, then we're in trouble. So I feel like we've had a really good time, but we are here to win some games, and so we're putting that effort onto the court now, and hopefully we'll come out with some victories.
Coach, thanks for joining us here on the Black and Gold Network.
All right, thank you.